On today's episode of Anime Afterthought Fire Force Season 2, Episode 3, A New Flashpoint. And once again, we are hit with that glorious Fire Force animation. Mwah, that thing is a thing of beauty. Not to mention the introduction of a new and interesting character, as well as ramping up some badass battles. Now, last we left off, the conversation between Shinra and Captain Haj, the commander of Company 4, took a sour note. And by sour note, I mean Shinra was completely taken over by the first pillar. Yeah, that fake-ass iris-looking bitch. And even with the support of Lieutenant Pan's whistle ability, the masochistic Captain Haj is not enough to take on the Adala Link Shinra. But there's no need to fear, we have the Night King Arthur on our side. And after getting a little bit more of his backstory, the episode devolved into an all-out slugfest between Shinra and Arthur. I have to say, it was fucking amazing. And after Arthur beat some sense into him, the battle finally ended with a knee to the face, not from Arthur, but by Shinra himself, taking over his possessed body. Yes, the first pillar has been dispelled. She decides it's time to take her leave and give Shinra a party message. No, not on the whereabouts of his could be or could not be alive mother, but in fact of the next pillar. Yes, the fifth pillar is about to be born. And this is where we pick up today's episode. Shinra seems to be completely recovered by the effects of the Adala link between him and the first pillar, and Homia has given up her control of the other members of the fourth company, so it seems it's time to set out. Saying his farewells, he starts with Captain Haj, who he can't help but to continue asking questions, primarily in the fact that, why do you think you entered this Adala Link world those 2 years ago? A very interesting question that not only has a parallel in today's episode later on, but also because of the captain's answers. It's because he believes he was close to the truth. The truth of what? The truth of human combustion, the truth of this other world, the truth of infernals? We don't really know because that's where the conversation ends. And after parting ways with his granddaughter, it's Shinra and Arthur on their walk home. Yes, we do get a little comedic moment between the two. Shinra is very apologetic, something Arthur does not believe the true Shinra would do, and begins to attack him with his plasma blade. Come on, Arthur. Shinra had a real enlightening moment, a baptism by the first pillar's fire, as I would put it, overcoming his own rage and bloodlust to regain the control over his own body. I mean, the motherfucker had a real moment there, so maybe he has changed a little bit. But surprisingly, what hasn't changed is his determination. He is the hero of this story. He will save his brother, his mother, and even protect the new fifth pillar. And I feel bad for anyone that gets in his way. Now, all the meanwhile, it seems Captain Obi has been on a mission of his own. Yes, he is currently in front of the Fire Defense Agency chief. This is the individual in charge of giving him command over the 8th Company, and it seems he is the one that is in direct communication with Obi as well as the other companies of the Fire Force. And after the events of the Nether, there has never been a more dire need for all of the companies to collaborate on what is going on with the Evangelists, the White Clads, and the great cataclysm that may soon reoccur. And although he may be chief of the Fire Defense Agency, this guy does not have pull, especially when it comes to Hajime Industries as well as the other companies. The conversation basically boils down to, Captain Obi, you are on your own. It's up to the 8th. Good luck. You can tell that this dude actually wants to help, but his hands seem to be tied. But nevertheless, we know that the Company 8th is up to the task. This group is here to do work, and I'm so glad they're being led by Obi, who once again reaffirms my trust in him by stating that he is there for the people. He's there to protect and save them. And this motherfucker is doing it without any kind of ignition ability. You gotta fucking respect that. Okay, so we've got a point in today's episode where it's the most intriguing. We get introduction of the new character, Inca, the 5th pillar, the possible 4th generation who technically doesn't have ignition ability when we first meet her, but she has the ability to literally smell where fire is going to appear. Like I said earlier, there was a parallel between Captain Haj's incident 2 years ago and later on in the episode, and it happens to be Inca. Yes, during the same fire 2 years ago, this is where she acquired her fire smelling ability, her fire prediction ability. Another masochist, in this case it's more like an adrenaline junkie, who is literally walking through the flames of the fire, contemplating whether or not she should let herself be burnt, was all of a sudden hit with the instinct to live, something that, you know, a lot of normal people would actually already have in them. So I'm assuming that this chick is a little bit crazy, especially when we see her fucking eyes. Like, I will say one thing, the artist as well as the animation company, they know how to do crazy fucking faces. We've seen it in Homia, we've seen it Hibana, we've seen a lot of fucking crazy, especially with the women. Fucking the first pillar, my god, do they know how to draw fucking crazy. And I kind of see it in this chick's eyes as well as her demeanor. But yes, this instinctual I have to live sparked her ability to suss out where fire will erupt. It basically creates a white line to know where the flame flame will travel, and that's how she escapes this 2 years. And we see that, like I said, it is pretty cool to see the connection, made between Inca and Hajj, this fire 2 years ago. Does it go deeper than that? I'm not 100% sure, but only time will tell. Now, of course, she does not use this ability for, I would say, noble intentions or honorable intentions. Quite the opposite. She is known as Fire Ground Thief Schoolgore. I'll just call her Fire Thief. And we actually see this in action. She uses her ability to predict where the fires are going to happen, gets there, and basically coerces the individual to give up their valuables in exchange for her saving them, along with her acolytes Panda and Sancho, as we witness the trio save yet rob an elderly disabled person, which is, really, really fucked up. But I have to say, her ability is quite astounding. Even she really can't understand the concept of it. She goes through and explains, the first generation, second generation, third generation, yet she has no ignition ability. So she assumes that she might be this unique or the first of her kind, the fourth generation. Now, after going over the spoils of their victory, it seems Inca has caught a whiff of something devastating. Yes, as we see in her Inca vision, many, many, many fires are about to erupt, and this sends her into a crazed, panic, frantic, completely excited, crazy emotional state. Like, I got a bad feeling about this, and I'll explain it later on once we go more about her. But of course, with all these fires erupting, it's only a matter of time before the Fire Force shows up, and in this case, it is the 8th Company. Yes, it's time to divide and conquer. Some are going to the Infernals, some are working with, evacuation. Shinra is going after the white-clad evangelists and trying to find this 5th pillar, where Arthur is going to take on the crazy electric chick. Yes, Homia. And I have to love the parallel in today's episode. Not only did we get it early on with the connection with that, the fire 2 years ago, but we see how the search patterns for each group are the same yet different, each one utilizing their ignition ability to try to locate this 5th pillar. Homia is using her electric ability to try to suss out, and actually she's the first one to locate them. And we have Maki utilizing her iron owls that have been altered by Vulcan to basically give them, cameras and a bird's eye view, and letting her do some kind of like VR remote controlling. It is very cool to see how this series uses the fire abilities and stuff. But even with that, it seems it's up to Shinra just flying around the city to try to locate this girl. But unfortunately, it seems the Whiteclads are there to make the first contact. Yes, Caron shows up, his very inquisitive personality taking over, asking if this individual in front of him is indeed Inca. And unfortunately for Sancho, his time has run out. Acting bravely and very chivalrously, telling Caron to back off, he gets completely fucking eviscerated. Like, I would say an arm, half his torso, a little bit of his waist, completely fucking gone. But it seems luck is on Panda and Inca's side, at least for now. Yes, she previously had an interaction with the 1st pillar, quite possibly being the catalyst that would ignite her ignition ability, as we see her activated to take on Caron. We see this mysterious line show up in her Inca vision, and as she proceeds to trace from start to finish, she's able to ignite Caron. But after seeing it basically has no effect on this white-clad monster, she takes off, playing decoy so Panda can get away. And with Caron hot in pursuit, it's only a matter of time before she gets captured, or in this case, saved. Yes, with a knee to the face, our hero Shinra has shown up on the scene, and I'm so fucking glad. But if you guys notice, like I noticed at this point, it didn't do fucking shit. He didn't blink, he didn't twitch, he didn't fucking even, my god, who is this fucking monster? And of course, this is where we get our part 2 of why I think Inca is crazy, and my future prediction is based on this, and it does not sound very good. Inca once again is questioning, just like she did with the white-clad Caron. Why are you here? What's going on? What do you want? Now, while Caron was offering a life that would give any adrenaline junkie a fucking boner, Shinra is offering safe haven and protection, and this is something that does not bode well with Inca. But of course, we don't have a lot of time to focus on that because the battle begins. Yes, Shinra versus Caron, and even though Shinra is very fucking powerful and is a 3rd generation, without the evangelist's grace, the connection through the adult link to this mysterious figure, it seems his attacks have no power to him. Caron is taking all this brunt, this force, these kicks, these knees, and easily brushing them off. I mean, just his steps when he walks alone, we're just having these huge fucking explosions. Of course, he's backed by 5 or 6 other whiteclads. I'm not 100% sure what role they play. Maybe it has to do with his power-up power, where he was going like 1, power up, 2, power up. Yeah, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Of course, we'll probably figure out what the fuck's going on later on. But at this point, Shinra is just getting the shit beat out of him. But of course, this episode ends all too soon, where the battle is cut, where once again, Shinra is able to get up and stand tall in the face of overwhelming power. Okay, now it's time for a theory. It's theory time. And of course, this is based on what I've seen seen so far, and unfortunately, it does not bode well for those who were wanting a new member of Company 8, just by the expression on her face alone as we see this city erupting in flames. Not to mention her complete lack of emotion when she hears that Shinra wants to protect her and keep her safe. We've already established that this bitch may be crazy. We already know she's an adrenaline junkie, but she may be fucking insane. And of course, where do all crazy people end up? Yes, unfortunately, if she is given two paths, unfortunately, I believe I see her walking the path of the white clad. I just have an honest gut feeling that she may be too far gone mentally wise to, join the protectors of the world. I mean, her fire premonition or prediction ability would be fucking amazing to have in any of the companies of the Fire Force, except, the bad ones. Not to mention her badass ignition ability that seems pretty fucking awesome. But yeah, her mental state is just screaming, I'm gonna be joining the Evangelist and having a badass thrill ride of a life. And that makes me sad. That makes me sad because we could, we could always use another pretty girl show up in the 8th company. But you know what? At least we still have Maki and Tamaki and cute little Iris. But like I said, that's a theory. We'll have to wait till future episodes, but I don't know. Does not look good for Company 8. But anyways, like I said, with the battle just starting between Shinra and Karan, I'm fucking ecstatic. Like, people give this series such shit, but I fucking love it. It's just a fucking joy to watch this animation. Oh my god. So with all that being said and Fire Force just heating up, I honestly cannot wait for future episodes.